Welcome to the Local Marketing Source Weekly Update, brought to you by localmarketingsource.com.
This week's Local Marketing Update is brought to you by Scott Gallagher. Scott is the co-founder of Local Marketing Source and has become the recognized expert in providing online marketing services to local businesses. Follow Scott on Twitter at ScottGallagher5 and on Facebook.com/ScottPGallagher.
Hey, well, good afternoon, everyone. This is Scott Gallagher here with Local Marketing Source with our weekly local marketing industry update. Now, we got a few interesting things to talk about. This is our first call of the year of 2016. You know, we spent a little bit of December going through different planning and getting going. And here we are in the middle of the week now of our first week of a whole new year. And I'll tell you, it was tough to get going on Monday. But I definitely feel like I am in work mode now throughout the middle of the week and rocking and rolling. We're getting our premium program launched on Monday is our first class. I'm excited. We've got some very interesting students that have joined the program and very excited to start with them. I do want to mention, though, that we do have one seat available for one of our groups that I'd like to let you know about. Just give me an email, scottg@localmarketingsource.com. Send me your phone number, and we can talk about it if this is something for you or not. The students that we do have tried to group them into like similar groups of where they are in their particular stage of their growth. So it's going to be a lot of fun. This is our second time through, and the students that went through the first program, the inaugural program, did very, very well. And we're going to bring them back as well to be junior mentors of some sort. I think we are calling them junior accountability partners. So it's sort of an unannounced bonus that we're throwing into the program as well that I think they're going to get some value from. And on that note of accountability partner, that's one of the discussions that I want to talk about. I wrote a blog post yesterday, spent some time and put some real thought to it. And, there's just some importance to having accountability in our business lives. It doesn't matter what business we're running, it's important. So I'd like to talk about that. But prior to that, SEO has hit mainstream news, and it's kind of scary for our industry. So I want to talk about how one SEO person has been sentenced to 37 months in federal prison in the United States. And then I'm going to turn that around and, discuss the positive side and perhaps I've got 5 different trends that I've put together that are likely foreseeable in local marketing in 2016. Now, for anybody that's new on the call right now, know that we're using GoToWebinar. You can raise your hand and I'll answer any questions that you have, or just type them into the box for any problems or questions that you may be having or problems with any audio. So an SEO individual has been sentenced to 3 years and 1 month in federal prison in the United States for extortion. This is an individual out of Texas, and he basically extorted local businesses by saying, hey, if you don't pay me for the SEO work, we're going to go and leave negative reviews online for your business. Well, obviously don't do that. No matter how you look at it, it's wrong. I run an agency for 10 years, and there's an element of cost of doing business. Let's face it. I don't like it. There's people that have screwed me, and it's out of good amounts of money. When we're charging $2,000 a month, especially for those that are starting out, that's a significant chunk of change on a monthly basis. If you all of a sudden don't get paid and you've banked on it and you've paid some of your people, and I've had to deal with it. It's as simple as that. And you've got some choices. You can take them to small claims court and deal with all of that, and your time is money. Or you could just bite the bullet and ensure that you've got the right systems in place. So I typically will take 2 months up front in terms of deposit. And I really like my customers to pay by credit card. Now, I do pay a premium for that. Um, but my business is not Josh Nelson's business. I'm not billing $150,000 a month on credit cards. And that's not the business that I aspire to grow to. The amount of money that I pay on a monthly basis is less than $1,000 in terms of transactional charges, and um, it makes my business smooth, where invoices are automatically generated, customers are automatically charged, and the money's automatically put into my bank account. So those are some of the reasons why I prefer to have that. And if that's the case, you don't set yourself up for not getting paid. It's an important, that's an important system for you to have into your business is to do that. And you can't always trust everybody. It's not that you don't want to not trust in individuals, but you got to get paid for what you do. So I thought I'd warn a little bit in regards to this guy, Bill Stanley. What he's had to deal with the SEO industry. It's kind of frustrating because it's hitting mainstream media, and it gives a discussion about negative connotation on our industry. But I thought of it, and if this ever comes up, it's an easy obstacle, easy objection for a prospect to for us to overcome that. And if they're concerned about us potentially extorting them, let's face it, they're setting an example. And our industry has got some good guys and bad guys, just like most industries. All right, so what do you think we're going to see in 2016? In terms of our business and how we're going to cater to our customers and offer greater value to our customers in 2016 over 2015 and remain competitive. What are some of the trends that are shaping local marketing for this year that we, foresee? And this to me is obvious. I remember way back in the day when I was working at Radio Shack. I mean, that was 20 years ago. And I went to a conference, and Motorola was the pioneer for Bluetooth. And me and two of my salespeople were able to go. They were my two top salespeople. I was a sales manager. And I remember them discussing for the first time Bluetooth. And they said, this Bluetooth is out. And my top salesman, he was the best salesman I'd ever seen. He became a great friend of mine. As a matter of fact, it's kind of sad. He just passed on a couple of years ago. And he stands up in this conference, completely. He was a young kid and just a great talker, sold cell phones like you wouldn't believe. So many people. And he, in front of all these business executives, whatnot, he stands up, he says, "When can I start selling Bluetooth?" I covered my head and I went, "Oh God." He never understood the concept. He didn't know what Bluetooth was. He didn't understand that it was a protocol, the communications protocol. He just got excited because the man on the stage was saying, "Hey, with Bluetooth technology, you could be walking by a place and they'd recognize that, you're there and you can send an ad to them." And I'm thinking, wow, that's pretty neat, so I could be walking down through a mall and the stores could be sending me ads as I'm walking through. And that's not how things panned out. Obviously, 20 years later, we understand, location-based marketing now. Things are definitely different. But that was the start of my thought process of location-based marketing. And now, here we are 20 years later, that these big, massive organizations, God, I wish I had foresight sometimes like that, these massive organizations have the data for location. They know where we are on a global front. And with that, advertisers have an ability to customize advertising experiences. And that, I think that concept in itself is extremely powerful. It's and we're on the cusp of it right now. We're on the forefront of location-based data. And so, one of the trends I foresee in 2016 is that location-based data is going to be the foundation for all local marketing. Location data goes all the way back to offline marketing. Even when I was working at Radio Shack, and remember, they would ask for your name and your number and your phone number and your address, and that's why that company did so well in the 80s. It's because of their direct mail campaigns. Interestingly, that company never did well in the online world. As soon as online advertisers came about, their old school strategies and their old school mentalities, led to the demise of Radio Shack in both Canada and the United States. So it's kind of interesting, actually, isn't it? Wow. Number two, we're going to see companies investing more into local search and Google, and Google's been trying, and it hasn't been there in complete forefront, and I don't think it ever will be. But organizations like Facebook, they've got to step on the bandwagon a little bit further. They did not do too much in 2015. In 2012 and 2013, Facebook was a big player or looking to be a big player in local, and they haven't. So we're likely going to see a lot of that. Apps, phone apps, they're going to become further important. We're going to start to see opportunities for local businesses to advertise based on in-game apps. Think of being on a train system in a major city, and that train going through and whatnot, and it would, learn when you get off and know what stores are around that area and follow you. So you're playing a game, and then these ads come up during that game time or the chat time that you're in discussion with. But so we're going to see apps getting into the local community a little bit further. You're going to see mobile wallets, I think, explode in popularity. It's going to be easier for almost any business to accept money digitally from anybody else that owns a cell phone and has an app tied into their credit card or their bank account. It'll be scary, or scarier, but it will. Mobile wallets are going to become the norm. I don't have a mobile wallet yet, and it's something that makes a lot of sense. And Google's going to remain the 800-pound gorilla in this world, but we're as mentioned, we're going to see other disruptors that are coming in, and consider how Apple is coming in with predictive and smart search. What they've got, and our cognitive ability to ask search engines questions instead of keywords is a massive trend. Well, let me know your thoughts. That stuff, a lot of fun. And then the last thing I want to talk about today is that blog post that I wrote yesterday, and I think that as we had some discussions of throughout December of planning and whatnot, and especially the experiences that I witnessed of going through the previous premium program, was the element of accountability and finding yourself an accountability partner, along with having an effective plan, is going to help provide you the right tools to springboard whatever you are working in 2016. So I put together some thoughts and just wanted to discuss different aspects that when you are searching for an accountability partner, just what to look for and what ultimately to avoid. Because understand that this is somebody that you want to have a give-take relationship with, that you both gain value from. You are not just taking from them. You're not paying somebody a bunch of money to give you their experience and their knowledge. You're looking for somebody that has experience and knowledge, but is in a similar position as you, that you can offer value to as well in return to true aspects of accountability. And if you don't have accountability in your life, you're not well, you're not going to perform at your peak. It's that simple. There's no two ways about it. I was just going through a training course yesterday, actually, on coaching, and it was a training course for to further my skills as a hockey coach and coaching children, and it's amazing the dynamics of the ability that us as human beings, we resonate with certain people, and there's others that we do not resonate with. Some people you just absolutely hit it off with, and others you just don't jive, and that's okay. And to be able to find that individual that is in a similar position as you and thinks similarly to you is extremely powerful for you to identify and achieve your goals. There's no doubt that we are our biggest enemies. We know that, and that it is easier to convince ourselves not to do something than it is to convince somebody else. It's just our nature. And, having an internal argument, well, you always want one side to win. So, the one that's typically the most desirable, that feels the most comfortable, is the one that generally wins, especially in business. There's a reason why that January is the biggest month for exercise places. Because the majority of people cannot hold themselves accountable for a very long period of time. So thinking about finding an accountability partner is different than having a mentor or a coach. And you've got to put yourself out there. Like any relationship that you're trying to find and build, you've got to put yourself out there. And you want to clearly state your needs and your wants of what you are looking for. Now, these certainly can change over time, but it helps a lot to set out expectations of another person so they know what you're hoping to get out of them. When you do have a chance to speak with them, discuss your weaknesses. Others can't help you if they don't know what your problems are. Now, while these relationships may develop into a friendship, this is not about finding a friend. This is not about your feelings. Find somebody that isn't connected to you empathetically. You want somebody to say it to you dry and not worry about your feelings, of hurting your feelings if they're going to tell you they don't, something's not working out. So on that note, another tip is likability is not the goal here. You're not trying to find somebody that you just like. There's a lot of people that I like, but I'll never do anything close to business with them. It comes down to trust, honesty, and loyalty. And there's few people that I trust in business and who are very honest and very loyal to me. And there's people that I trust and that are honest and that are loyal to me, but I don't like them. It's not a harmful thing. And when I say I don't like them, I mean it's not going to be somebody that I'll call up on a Friday night to go and hang out with and talk about hockey or snowboarding. In a sense, my business partner at Local Marketing Source is that. We're yin and yang. I'm the race car that has no steering wheel, and he's the bumpers on the freeway. Now, when we get together at events, we have a great time because we have a mutual interest of our business. But outside of our business, no, there's not a heck of a lot that we'd ever be friends for. Find somebody. Oh, and I bring up my partner, by the way, before I go on to another point, because we were accountability partners to one another before we became business partners. We were together in a mastermind group, and the objective of that mastermind group was to hold one another accountable. So on that note, find somebody that you respect. It could really help to find somebody in your industry, somebody who's not a competitor. Or go and hang out in the Local Marketing Source public Facebook page. not just the private page. If you are an LMS member, go to the private page and put yourself out there of what you're looking for. But it's not just about finding somebody in your industry. And it isn't about finding somebody that's going to help you with coaching. It's there to find somebody that's going to hold you accountable. So if you can't commit to that relationship, then don't. You're going to end up losing credibility for yourself with others if you don't keep your end of the deal. But do scrutinize your business partner, your partner's business and personal life. I told you about my business partner, Ryan. We have different personal lives, but our cores and our values are the same, especially when it comes to our kids, our family, and our friends. Our core values are the same. That's why trust, honesty, and loyalty are the base of our relationship. Now, before we got into a partnership, we both completed a Myers-Briggs analysis. If you don't know anything about that, do a search for it. Go to my blog post and there's links on there. I have all my premium students complete something called a DISC analysis. That's a profile analysis. And it gives me an understanding of what's important to people, how to work with somebody, how to manage them, whether I take a hard, direct approach, or if they're a little sensitive. Ask questions like, how do they handle their clients? What books do they read? How do they handle problems? Now, here's a big one, for me at least. Use video conferencing. I mean, Skype and FaceTime, they're not the new cool thing anymore, but I insist with my premium members that when I communicate with them, majority of the time it's via webcam. 93% of all communication is nonverbal. And the communication of emotions and our feelings, that's really the basis of any relationship, is how others make us feel, is nonverbal. So the majority of the important stuff is not communicated through the words I say. It means it's communicated through the tone of our voice and the physiology of your face and your actions. They play a huge part in conveying messages. And when you're trying to help somebody at an intimate level like that, it's important. Physiology alone represents about 55% of all of our communications. So take my word for it. Get on Skype. When you do start this relationship, include a grace period. This is important. Make sure you both understand that it's being tested out for a few weeks and the test is okay. Just talk about who you are in the first meeting. Talk about your vacation, your dream vacation. Talk about your different views on education. Don't discuss religion or politics. It's okay for you to have different points of view on religion and politics. And finally, this is a professional relationship. So if you hired me to be your accountability partner, I'd charge you $250 a week, for a 1-hour meeting once a week. Treat it like you're paying this person $250 for their time once a week. Their time is as important as yours. And when you're doing the work that for your clients, you should be doing jobs that pay you $250 an hour. So I hope that those are some tips. I hope that you make some effort to go out and find an accountability partner. It doesn't matter what stage you're at of your business. It does not matter what stage you're at. As a matter of fact, the more wealthy somebody becomes, the more often you find these people in place. And accountability partners very often become good friends. So I don't see that there are any hands that are up. I'll give it 30 seconds. and I'll be right back and see if there's any questions typed into the box. And hands up. I see one just went up, so I'll be right back.
Well, thanks for watching the Local Marketing Industry Update. We've got these things coming out every single week, so if you liked with what you heard, just click the button right above me right here to subscribe to our channel. If you'd like to get a little bit more, right over here, go check out localmarketingsource.com. We've got free reports that you can grab. You can even register for a free marketing course to get in and see the portal. Or just go ahead and follow us on some of the social channels. We'll be around. Until next time.